Hey, Daily Taoist here, Buddha Zhen. Hey, by the way, I'm doing everything for free. You should go to my ShaolinInteractive.com website and sign up for my Kung Fu classes. There, that's my advertisement. Okay, I'm reading from the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu, 2,000 some years, 100 years ago, 2,500 years ago, 2,200. And I made my own version of it called, you can see it back up here on my shoulder, the Tao of Taoism, using the Tao Te Ching to improve your daily life. Okay, so here we go. I'm on page 26, and this is number 15. Now, in this case, what we're talking about, he's got, look at it. It says, 4 levels of influence. And there's 4 numbers here and 4 things. Number 1, these are 4 levels of influence. Condemnation of conduct. So in other words, telling somebody they're doing something bad. That's how you can influence somebody. That's 1. You condemn their conduct. Number 2, fear of punishment or denied rewards. Okay, now you're saying, if it's bad, this is gonna happen. So now you got something to lose. Number 3, motivate by loyalty, honor, self-interest, money, rewards, and flattery. Okay, that's a positive, but you're bribing. Okay, first one is you condemn them, you make them feel bad. The second one is you actually make them fear doing something that makes you disliked. Third one is to be bribed. And the fourth one is to influence without those being influenced being aware of it. So can you just communicate with people and get them to kind of go along with you without effort? Okay, so in that way, I guess, in other words, you're influencing them without them realizing you're influencing them. So you can, through slogans and emotions, there's lots of ways you can do that. I'm watching our president do this, it's amazing watching politics, 2020. I never realized how corrupt and evil and whatever it is and can so easily be. It's going to be interesting to see how in the future people can use politics to create good things for the purpose of good. Because we're really seeing it used for the powers of corruption. Now, if those wheels of power could be changed to where corruption isn't making all the final decisions, I mean, an interesting world. So the future has got some interesting possibilities in it. We'll see what happens. So anyway, 4 levels of influence. Okay, now, regarding those under your influence or that you influence, students, children, your employees, how do you use condemnation of conduct to influence and control them? Okay, so how do you condemn? Like make a rule, no spitting on the sidewalk. Okay, so you've condemned it. Okay, how do you condemn their conduct? Number 2, or next, how do you use fear of punishment or denied reward? Spit on the sidewalk is a $50 fine. Okay, let's take it up a notch. How do you use fear of punishment or denied reward? Next, how do you motivate by loyalty, honor, money, rewards, and flattery? Hey, those who don't spit on the sidewalk can join my special club and have free pizza. Okay. How do you use motivate by loyalty, honor, money, rewards, or flattery to get people to do what you want? And fourth, how do you influence without those being influenced being aware of it? So how do you influence people without them being aware of it? So that's more subtle, like by good example. That's the nicest one, is just set a good example and influences people's behavior. I caused a lot of trouble over the years by picking up trash. When I'd walk my kids to school, I just couldn't ignore it. So me and my kids started picking up the trash. When we moved to Tahunga, there was a lot of trash. And so little by little, cars started honking at us as we went by. They started seeing us do it. And then next thing I know, of course, the neighbors are talking about it. It's kind of noticeable. This whole street all the way up to the school is not one single piece of trash. and so we kind of got a reputation. I started seeing other people do it. Similar thing happened at an apartment complex where I was living. And most of the people there, the landlord was getting subsidized by the government if he would bring people from South America and Central America at that time for some reason. That's what he told me. In fact, he said he'd previously been getting subsidies for another race, but I won't get into that. Anyway, so he was just picking any way he could to, make a profit. So anyway, he had all these immigrants in this apartment building that I moved into. And boy, I learned a lot about knife fighting and women fighting. So first I saw more violent face shredding that I've ever seen in my whole life during that time I lived there at the apartments. Anyway, it turns out that in Central America, one of the ways you lower a woman's, because marriage and family is really the only business for a woman down there. And so if you can scar a woman and scratch her face, then that not only do you win that fight, but you have now raised, within the local pool of marriageable women, you've now become the better choice than the woman who's got a scarred face. So, man, I saw that. That was weird. I could have gone my whole life without imagining that kind of thing. But anyway, which of these 4 techniques do you use most? So, of those 4 things, which do you use the most? Everybody has a tendency to use one more than the other. So, which one of those? Which of the 4 techniques are you best at? Which obviously means you've used it the most, probably too. So, of all those 4 techniques, which are you best at? Bribing, giving honor, humiliating, or punishing? Those are the 4 things. Which are you best at? And punishing can just be denying people something too, remember? Just not giving them something or not giving them your love. That's punishment. How can you improve your, let's see, which of these 4 techniques should you use more? Okay, so, which of these 4 techniques should you use more? Maybe your life has changed, so reconsider. You know, you're dealing with a different type of people. Maybe they're not kids, maybe they're adults. So maybe you got to change your motive of operation here. Okay, how can you improve your ability to motivate others? Yeah, reconsider. Reconsider which modes to use. And use the right one. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just saying know what you're doing and make sure you're using the right one. Okay, which of these 4 techniques works best on you and why? Now that's a very good question. Are you better if someone threatens you, if they flatter you, or whether they punish you, or whether you're bribed? Which do you work best under? And what is the basis of your self-discipline and motivation? So everybody has some amount of self-discipline and motivation. Some people have very little, but still. What is the basis of it? How come you have whatever you have, and what is it? What are you self-motivated to do? What can you push yourself to do? And if you can push yourself to do something, beyond just wanting to eat or take a shower when you start to smell. No, I mean, how do you do it on a regular basis? How do you do something that's disciplined, regulated? And what is the basis of that training? Okay, how can you be motivated without any external rewards? So in other words, what does it take for you to be motivated to do something? If I wanted to get you to do something for me, like wash my car, how could I get you to do it without bribing you? How could I get you to do it without bribing? Probably be pretty hard, wouldn't it? Okay, how willingly do you sacrifice your spare time for money? Spare time for money. Yeah? So that's time you don't have to work. So you're working, and maybe you got extra time, and you're not married, and you don't have kids or something like that. You could watch football, or maybe you could actually take on a part-time job. So how willingly do you sacrifice your spare time for money? But that's specific. Okay, last one. What is the least amount per hour you will work for, and why? That's an interesting question, of course. What's the least amount you'll work for per hour, and why that particular amount? All right, Daily Taoist here, and that was number 15, 4 levels of influence. How are you influenced? So this is your relationship with the Tao. Remember, the Tao includes people and jobs and stuff too. That's part of the nature of you live in. Even if it's a little unnatural, it's still part of your Tao. It's part of your nature you live in. So all those things affect you. So your relationship with your job, your money, your desire. Anyway, if you're here, you must be interested in understanding yourself better. So glad to have you, Daily Taoist out.